Cassie Hobbs crouches in the dark basement, the stale air choking her as her flashlight quivers over ancient, peeling wallpaper. A muffled cry slices through the silence, a sound she thought she'd never hear again. Her mother, alive but trapped, Cassie's world fractures. Everything she believed about that horrid night, the murder, the cold case, it's all wrong. The people holding her mother are not only ruthless, they wield power that reaches into the very heart of the FBI's Naturals program. The hunt is no longer about finding killers, it's about survival. Cassie's entire life has been a lie spun around a single memory. When she discovers her mother's alive, the very foundation of her quest crumbles. In a shadowy underground cell, Cassie finds her mother, Emmeline, rocking gently against chained walls. Years of presumed death vanish in an instant. Memories replay not as facts, but as fractured, unreliable tales. That single moment ignites a chain reaction. Who lied? Why? And who benefits from keeping this secret buried? Cassie realizes the dark web around her is far wider than the Naturals anticipated, and more deadly. Memory isn't a perfect tape you rewind and replay. Imagine it like a kaleidoscope. Each trauma twists and reshapes the images you remember, bending them into something new, sometimes unrecognizable. For Cassie, betrayal and loss rewired her brain to fill gaps with assumptions. That's why cold cases gather dust. Memories distort, witnesses fade, and truth becomes slippery, until fresh eyes turn over every stone. Unraveling the past forces Cassie to redefine herself, not as a victim or a daughter seeking closure, but as a hunter chasing shadows deeper than she expected. This transformation fuels her team's tenacity against adversaries who hide in plain sight, blurring lines between allies and enemies. The truth becomes a weapon, not a goal, one that demands courage and cunning beyond the forensics lab. When the bodies start piling up, Cassie realizes the Naturals aren't just hunting killers, they've become the prey. The stakes are escalating fast. The Naturals first notice the pattern in cold cases suddenly turning violent, a cryptic message carved into a victim's skin in Kansas, a staged scene in rural Georgia. Cassie's gut screams danger, but jurisdictional politics slow the response. Their opponents exploit this paralysis, sending clear signals they're closing in. Each clue feels like a trap set specifically to bait the Naturals' next move. The killers they face aren't just brutal, they're master illusionists. Picture a magician who directs your eyes away with one hand while setting the trap with the other. These killers manipulate media, erase digital footprints, and use community myths as shields. Against this, traditional profiling hits a wall. The Naturals must learn psychological camouflage themselves, blending in without losing their edge to outwit invisible threats. Pressure fractures teams, but in high-stakes hunts, unity becomes the sharpest weapon. Cassie, Leah, Michael, and the entire Naturals squad adapt by leaning on emotional candor and ruthless strategy. Trust evolves from weakness to strength, creating a network that can withstand internal doubt and external menace. Their bond turns the tables, not just surviving the hunt, but turning it into a counterstrike. The Naturals program isn't just specialized FBI training, it's a living system built on intuition, psychology, and inherited trauma. Understanding it is Cassie's key. Cassie's brutal grit wasn't bought in a classroom, but forged in the unforgiving Naturals program. Weeks of simulated crime scenes, analyzing microexpressions, learning cold reading. They're drills designed to sharpen instincts until intuition feels like a sixth sense. It's brutal. The pain of emotional exposure becomes a training tool. Cassie remembers breaking down under pressure and rising smarter, faster, fiercer. That relentless training blurs lines between skill and gut reaction. Think of psychological profiling as tuning a musical instrument. Every case requires a different pitch, tone, and tempo. The Naturals learn to detect dissonance in behavior, subtle rhythm changes in speech, tiny gestures that scream lies or fear. Profiling isn't guesswork. It's science and art combined, requiring empathy, logic, and razor-sharp observation to translate cryptic clues into a portrait of a killer's mind. Every Natural carries the scars of family wounds, the pain of losing loved ones, the burden of legacy, the fire of justice burning hotter with each cold file. This inherited trauma fuels a fierce determination that no physical training can match. Cassie feels it in her bones. This isn't just a career, it's bloodline. Their emotional edge turns vulnerability into tenacity, making the Naturals stronger and unbreakable against the darkness. This isn't just one killer. It's a deadly dynasty, secret plots weaving through generations. Cassie's pursuit peels back centuries of blood-stained silence. Digging into dusty archives and forgotten small-town legends, Cassie and the Naturals uncover a secret society of killers operating under a chilling code. Protect the family name at all costs. One body in Montana carries a symbol only insiders recognize, linking murders across decades. Each revelation makes their foes more elusive, more ruthless, turning historical myths into present-day nightmares. This code of silence works like an impenetrable fortress. Thick walls of loyalty, fear, and manipulated traditions keep truth trapped inside. Imagine a family dinner where everyone's smiling, but beneath the polished veneers lie threats and whispered orders. No outsider cracks this without risking everything. The killers' power thrives in the very communities where justice should take root, corroding trust from within. Confronting the legacy requires more than evidence. Cassie realizes exposing killers means shattering the community's perception of safety and family, hard truths that demand bravery. But the payoff is liberation. Breaking silence fractures the dynasty's grip and sparks healing. Justice becomes more than punishment. It's a new beginning for victims, hunters, and survivors alike. The final twist: the Naturals become targets. The true villain plays a deadly game, forcing Cassie to fight for her life and everything she believes. In a breathless confrontation on a rain-slicked rooftop, the Naturals finally corner their nemesis, only to realize it's someone they trusted all along. The betrayal cuts deep. The murderer played a double game, manipulating forensic data and emotional bonds with surgical precision. This revelation shatters the team's psychic armor, forcing Cassie to question every alliance and every motive she took for granted. Facing death on their terms, the Naturals flip the script. Using learned psychology and battlefield instincts, they turn booby traps into empty shells, ambushes into strategic advantages. Imagine a chess master forced into checkmate, who sacrifices pieces to control the board and deliver a winning check. It's brutal, clever, and raw survival at its finest, showing how desperation breeds innovation. When the dust settles, the Naturals are battered but unbroken. Cassie's transformation completes, from uncertain girl chasing ghosts to a fierce FBI agent who claims her power by mastering shadows. The final payoff isn't just solving the case, it's reclaiming agency, proving that even in darkness, you can rewrite the story you thought was fixed. Remember Cassie crouched in that dark basement, heart pounding as her mother's cry shattered all certainties? That moment was the spark, the start of unraveling a web of lies binding generations. The lesson here is brutal and beautiful. What you think is truth might just be the surface. Your mission, whether chasing murders or facing your own fears, is to dig deeper, challenge your memories, and rewrite your story with courage. So next time you're stuck in a mental maze, try this. Question what you believe absolutely, because your truth might just be waiting to break free. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.